Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. Today, we're actually going to have a state of the barbering address. This episode is going to give you so much power when it comes to who you are trying to become as a barber that you do not want to miss this. So stay tuned.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we are here at Elevated Barbers Podcast. My name is Bradford Kelly, aka the Business-Minded Barber, and I'm with...
This is Delmar, aka the Prince, co-host of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. And Brad, I'm looking forward to this episode today.
This is gonna be a good one, man. We're not gonna waste no extra time. I'm overly excited, and I probably need to calm down because he's a real chill dude. But welcome to the stage, my man, Ideal Mike Andrew.
What's up, great people? How y'all feeling?
Very good. How you doing?
I'm good, bro.
Mike, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself to the community. Let them know who you are, where you're from, where you operating from, and how have you gotten into this industry?
Yeah, so my name is Mike Andrews. I am a licensed master barber. It's important for us to say that nowadays, right? Out of Atlanta, Georgia. I have been in the industry as a full-time barber for about 12 to 14 years. Quit my job around 2011, 2012. Yeah, man, I'm originally from San Diego, but I'm a Navy brat, so I'm from all over. I spent a lot of time in Jacksonville, Florida. I was raised in Virginia Beach area. So I moved to Atlanta in 2008, took the industry serious, went to school, and yeah, man, it's just been up since then. And I don't mean literally up like it's all been great, but looking back, it was all part of everything I went through was all part of where I'm supposed to be right now. So yeah, I'm a father of three. I have a 6-year-old son about to be 7 in about a week and a half. I have twin girls. They just turned 4, and I've been married for 8 years, about to be 9 years. So busy life, blessed, man. I'm definitely blessed, but I'm excited for this conversation. I'm looking forward to chatting it up with some dope barbers. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So I know Delmar, we both did some research on you. We both did. Yeah. And I've been a consumer of your content for quite some time. It started off with me just being super duper impressed with the skill level that you have as a barber.
Appreciate
just my goodness. Just on cutting hair alone, like there's mad respect. But I don't just follow every single barber that can do a dope haircut. Like that's just not my MO. I really, really care about the mindset of the barber behind the skill that we see. And your mind is brilliant, to say the least. And there's a heart that you have to see barbers be great and also be respected so that they can walk fully in the path that they have in front of them. And so I want to be able to dive into your mindset a little bit. And the reason why we called this episode the State of the Barbering Address is because if you know, the president always has like a State of the Union address. It gives the people the state of things that may need to change and gives the state of things that are happening positively. And although neither one of us on this screen is a president of barbering, but we have been in the industry for quite some time and do have a perspective as individuals, not all the same thought process, but as individuals, we do have a state that we would like to share with you about barbering, because if you are a barber, then 9 times out of 10, you want to grow in your profession. You want to grow. And if you want to grow, then this is going to be an episode that's going to give you so much light on how to grow and how to think and how to move forward in this industry. So Delmar, I'm gonna let you start the show off with the question that you want to ask Mike, because we about to get into some good stuff.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna start the episode off with a bang.
Let's go.
So Mike, you mentioned that you cut in Atlanta. You've been there for a little while now. So just recently, the state of Georgia, they either passed a bill or they're working on passing the bill to where barbers no longer are required to go to school to get their license. Am I correct?
Yeah, so there is a bill that has been, I think maybe it's being voted on today. I don't want to speak incorrectly about it, but I do know there's a Republican senator who proposed a bill, Senate Bill 354.
354, yeah.
354, essentially making some changes so that you don't have to have a license to work in a barbershop to cut hair. But there are other services is that master barbers will still have to do if you want to be a master barber.
Okay. How do you feel about them trying to remove the fact that we have to go to school to get, a certain amount of hours to get our license? Because I know for me, man, I'm at odds with it because, I went to school, got my 1,500 hours. I don't know how many hours it is now, but when I was in school, it was 1,500 hours. And, I pride myself on being a professional, having a license, and it's not having a license don't make you professional, but, we went through the time, we studied, took state board, all that good stuff to get our license and become a professional barber. So, like I said, I'm kind of at odds about it. I see it as it's starting up a conversation in the industry with Georgia, because we all know that Georgia, Atlanta, that's the hair mecca. So if it passes in Georgia, more than likely all the rest of the states will follow suit. So I just like for you to elaborate on, how you feel about it.
Yeah, I think, how do I feel? I still am trying to unpack how I feel, because I mentioned I'm a father, a husband, I'm a barber, I'm a shop owner, I own a product line. So my perspective when it comes to things like this oftentimes isn't solid from one viewpoint. So like if I try to look at it from, if I'm only a barber, and I was just coming into the industry, because I think a lot of times when we get experience, we kind of forget what it felt like when we first got into the industry, or what it felt like when we first tried to break through, right?
Yeah.
I cut in the bathroom. Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but when I was in high school coming up, I was cutting my homies in the bathroom. I thank my dad for exposing me to the industry, because he was cutting my hair in middle school, and I realized that he was jacking me up, right? So like, I think we all have similar stories. My pop is the reason. So like, I feel like we all start from a place of being bootleg barbers to a certain extent. And I do know, to your point, D, you mentioned just because you have a license doesn't mean you're professional. There's a lot of licensed barbers that I have had the opportunity, the pleasure to work with as a shop owner, as a shop manager, just as a coworker, who were professional as unlicensed barbers. I knew some bootleg barbers who were way more professional than licensed barbers. On the other side, I knew some barbers that were licensed and were like completely hustling, and like, they would do whatever it took to make that money, right? And they were representing the industry the wrong way. So how do I feel? Like I said, I'm gonna try my best to be as transparent as I can. I'm still trying to unpack it. Honestly, as a master barber who is licensed, who took the time to get his license, who went to barber school, I'm excited because I think it creates a line of separation between true master barbers and just regular barbers. I don't care. I think it's actually going to elevate the barbers who take themselves seriously and who decide to keep their license active. I think it's going to elevate them in the heart and minds of our customers, which is really what I think it's all about. I think ego is what's going to have me feeling like, oh man, they don't have to go through what I went through to cut in a barbershop, right? And I feel like that's serving my ego. But if I'm thinking about my target market, I'm thinking about my clients that I want to serve. If I can show them a difference, and if actually there's a state difference between what I do and how I'm licensed and how professional I am compared to a regular barber who's not, I don't mind it. I think it's only going to elevate the barbers who are doing good business.
So let me ask you a quick question on that.
Yep.
What is the do you know? Have you studied up enough to know the difference between what the license will require versus what the non-licensed barbers will have to do?
So I haven't.
And this is what might be a part 2 question. I don't know. Yeah. But is the term master barber, can you define that for the viewers that may not know what you're talking about?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you asking that clarifying question. I think as it currently stands, master barbers are allowed to do chemical processes. So in the state of Georgia, I think over the last couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they introduced a Barber 2 program. So there's master barbers and then there's Barber 2. Both of them require a license, but the Barber 2, you didn't have to go through 1,500 hours, nor did you have to learn the chemical side of the industry. So you can literally go to barber school for, I want to say it was 1,200 hours, but please don't quote me. And you were able to get out and get your license, go in a barbershop and cut hair. You just couldn't do color services. So actually in my shop right now, there's a Barber Newland who is a Barber 2 barber in our shop. He's licensed. He just went to barber school and decided I'm going to focus only on, getting my license with cutting hair. I don't want to have to learn how to do color process. So from what I understand about this proposed bill, because it still has to go vote, it still has to be voted on, it still has to go through the house, right? The proposal was saying it's affecting barber twos, from what I understand. So it doesn't say that master barbers no longer, I don't want to misspeak on this. It doesn't say that master barbers no longer are required. If you still want to maintain your master barber status, then you still would be paying your dues to the state to be a licensed master barber. But outside of that, you can still work in the shop without having a barber license.
Yeah, that's a good clarifying question, because for me, I've never heard the term master barber outside of someone self-promoting themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am a master barber because I've been cutting hair for 25 years, or
in Georgia,
5 years. I'm nice.
Yeah,
it's like,
you get your license and you're automatically deemed because you went to school and you got your license, you passed the test, you're automatically a master barber. That was the term in Georgia. That is the current term.
Oh wow, yeah.
So,
see,
in Louisiana, Louisiana
for 30 years. Yeah, it just means that you got your license, so you're a licensed master barber. But even back then, and like I'm gonna rewind back to how I felt about the industry coming in. I always felt like there should be levels to this thing, right? Like not just about years, maybe not just about how much money you're making, but we need to figure out a way to create some different categories. And I think coming into the game, automatically being a master barber, what does that really mean, to your point, bro? Like, how have you mastered barbering because you got your license, right? Yeah. If that's the case, then we should have a grandmaster barber, right? Maybe we should have like belts like we do something like that, right? But
Delmar, I see you trying to get in, so I'm gonna hold off. Go ahead, D. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say in Louisiana is different. So you can get your license as a barber in Louisiana, but you don't get the term master barber until you put a apprentice under your license. So you're not automatically deemed a master barber just because you went through the program and got your license. Like, you have to actually put an apprentice. So I guess it's different, state by state, whatever master barber is. But I'm too like Brad. I used to always hear that term on YouTube, and then Instagram came about, and people would just throw that term around. I'm a master barber, because they've been cutting hair for so many years. But like you said, what is that exactly? What is being a master barber?
And that's such a good point to be able to clarify that for people. That it's at least in Georgia, it means that you can also do chemical services, which is starting to become a lot more popular in our time frame right now, where barbers are doing a lot of color, they're doing a lot with their designs. A lot of barbers are now doing perms, and I'm seeing that, and I'm like, man, I remember barber college, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, you ain't gonna see no roller sets or nothing like that. But that was my perspective, right? But to say like, okay, well, this is what a master barber is, then it shows the difference between mindsets, right? And how far you're trying to go in the industry. So that's key. But so you said that you're excited about the bill.
Yeah, I just don't, because I'm an essentialist, right? So I think about what's the bare minimum things I need to do to move myself closer towards my goals, right? How does this affect me in my barbershop? I don't see it affecting it negatively. I want to stay focused on the main thing. How do we serve our clients? How do we continue to improve with our professionalism, our punctuality, our structure? Marketing is important, right? But as a owner of a barbershop, does it hurt the industry? I don't think it hurts the industry any more than having shop owners who allowed unlicensed barbers to work in the shop, right? I think if I was just coming into the industry, y'all, like, I think if I just finished barber school, let me put it in that perspective. If I just finished barber school and I just put in that 1,500 hours, like you were saying, D, and then 2 weeks later they say, all right, so no, you no longer have to do all that. Yeah, I'll feel away. But as I currently am, I'm just speaking towards my current experience, right? What I'm going through, how I'm building my business. I'm excited, because I just think the industry is always going to grow. I think over the last few years, we've seen rapid growth going on. More people are coming. I think it's crazy how kids are coming up now, y'all, wanting to be barbers. Mind blowing to me. Like, that's just crazy.
They got movies. You seen that movie where it's like a cartoon, and the cartoon is a barber, but he's like providing all this wisdom and advice. I forgot the name of it.
It's the Jamie Foxx movie.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx movie. I can't think of the name of it.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah, that was good. But just to go to your point, like, now barbering has become cool, but it's also been something to aspire to, and so it's good, bro. It's good. Now this is one of the
help me see it differently. I said excited just maybe for a lack of different words to explain it, but like, I look forward to like creating separation in the marketplace, right? I want people to see the choices that they have, not just about price point, but like, how can I create more separation. Okay, well, if you go on online, you see that this barbershop has 8 licensed barbers and this barbershop has 8 unlicensed barbers. I think in the mind of the consumer, I like the fact that they get to make a choice based on a licensed professional, and then that leads them towards my direction.
But this is my challenge with this. This is my challenge with it is that at this stage of the game right now, you're saying that taking away the license for the majority of barbers that do not provide chemical services, which is a lot, you're saying that that's a positive because if a person it has a license, what the license means is now we can do chemical services as well. Like that's what the license means.
I'm saying the way that the bill is proposed, I don't see it as a threat. I guess that's the biggest.
But that's the reason why is because you've gone to the highest level of what a barber can do. Is that not right?
Okay, so let's create some definition. I appreciate the compliment, but what do you consider the highest level of what a barber can do? Because I still feel
from what I meant when I asked that question is you said like a master barber has the ability to create to do chemical services in the state of Georgia, which is the highest state of what a license can cover, right? Gotcha. Like you can do chemical services. We underneath our license, we have the ability to address the skin, the scalp, as well as the hair on the neck and everything. Like we can address all of those things from a topical perspective. We're not supposed to do incisions and create changes, but we are able to provide services that treat the skin, the hair, all from a topical perspective. Now, you've gone to the height of that when it comes to chemical services, understanding like, okay, I can retexture the hair by using this chemical. I can remove pigment from the cuticle, and I can deposit pigment into the. You know what I'm saying? Like you can add color, take away color. So I went technical, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you. I follow you.
But when it comes to the rest of the barbers, like I'm one of the ones that you're saying would fall into the category of the unlicensed barbers because I choose not to have gone into the chemical services. And for me, I'm like, nah, like I agree with the separation needs to happen because I don't like being jumbled up with the same people that don't clean their clippers or that always come late or that don't care about the relationships that they build with their clients or there's so many things that they don't care about, but because we both have a barber's license, it's like I don't like that. So I think there's definitely needs to be a separation. However, the separation being you need to do chemical services versus it means to me, it's going to open the floodgates for more of those unprofessional barbers to call themselves barbers, which I don't like.
Yeah, I guess I'm interested to see how this all plays out. It's still super early. A lot of the posts that we've seen on social media is kind of broad in how they're describing what the bill is doing. I'm looking to see how it keeps changing because even as of, I think this morning, the bill had an update that changed some language in it. Yeah. Like I said, it still has to be passed.
But do you how important do you think the license is? And Delmar, this is for you too, because you know when you get to different communities, for the lack of a better term, you have some affluent communities and you have some lower income communities that people are not as affluent, but that goes with states, that goes with as well as cities. But Delmar, you're in Baton Rouge, right? And Baton Rouge is more of a, lack of a better term, more of an up and coming type of a city. Like you guys haven't been popping for decades, but like since Hurricane Katrina came and hit New Orleans and everybody kind of flooded out, Baton Rouge became super big. You know what I mean? And now it's a thriving, popular city, but it's still on the up and coming. And you know that because you're at the top of the bracket when it comes to price points for barbers in your area. So when you think about the license thing, what do you feel on this topic?
I kind of feel like Mike, now that he mentioned it, just seeing it from that perspective, that it does create separation in between who's licensed, who's unlicensed. Like you said, there are people who they own barbershops and they have people in their shop that don't have a license. So what would the difference be? Because people still cutting hair illegally anyway. But I don't know, in terms of you didn't meet the credentials or you didn't go through the process of becoming a licensed barber and I'm a licensed professional, I think in terms of the customer, so let's go to the medical industry. Would you go to a doctor that's self-proclaimed a doctor, but he didn't go through school to become a doctor? You let him work on you?
Absolutely
No.
not.
So, just like a patient would let an unlicensed doctor, prescribe them medicine or perform a surgery on them, I think it's kind of the same thing as far as the barber industry. Like, you may have some people who still go to this person because they cut nice or whatever, but 8 times out of 10, you're going to go to the person that has the credentials next to their name. That's just how I view it.
And I'm also a little bit of a contrarian to, like, when I see everybody having the same opinion, the same reaction, I'm sitting back thinking, all right, well, why? Like, what's going on? Like, I like to step back and figure out if the crowd is running towards one direction, what's in the other direction, right? Like, what are we missing? Maybe that's just my perspective coming out a little more strongly than maybe it'll play out over the years. But I think about it simply as we are here to serve our customers, right? Serve clients. We're here to serve the public. As a barbershop owner, if I decide, right, because this opens up some more options. If I decide to bring in barbers who don't have to get their state board license, then it's on me as a shop owner to train them on the safety and sanitation education that I had coming up, right? And to keep the same standards in place. But I think it creates opportunities for shops to grow without the red tape of having to go get your barber license or go to barber school. And like you said, some barbers don't necessarily want to practice or want to go and get the chemical side of things. Some people just want to learn a trade. I think we can learn a lot from the salon world, working with stylists and beauticians. I worked in the salon for about 1.5 years before I opened up my shop. And it just gave me a different perspective on how to build a business. And I noticed that one thing differently that most barbers don't do is they have assistants and junior stylists underneath them that do shampoo service. They may do like a press out service, and then they'll come in at the very end and add their master technique. Yeah, they'll add their finishing touches to it. So I'm like, all right, this is different, right? Most barbers don't think about it like this. And I wonder why. I think it can play out similarly with this change. And maybe it's just me being a contrarian, but I think there's opportunities for it to be used in a positive way, not just saying, oh, well, this is saying we're deregulating everything. I think there's some opportunities for some good things to happen. That's all I want to put out.
Man, I like that. I feel like it's,
I never thought about it like that as far as like the beauty industry. Like, they have had, people come up under them, and that's how they later on got into becoming a stylist, because somebody brought them in the shop, trained them on how to shampoo hair, how to blow dry, and then the stylist came in and did, they finished the job. So I never thought about it from that perspective either.
Yeah, I'm big.
But in terms of professionalism, like, stylists have been ahead of barbers for years. If
we've been chasing them for a while. Facts.
Yeah, they've been doing appointments. They've been setting their price points, where they need to be. We just now catching on.
I want to say this real quick. Sorry to cut you off, D. I just feel like I'm big on the idea of practicing at the top of my license. And what I mean by that is I want to make sure that in the hearts and minds of my clients that they feel that I'm doing my best work. And in my opinion, the way I see my best work is I don't want to spend the majority of an appointment trying to make sure that somebody's hair is shampooed and prepped for me to do a fade and a cut and a razor line, right? I want to educate my clients to take care of that stuff at home.
Yeah.
I don't want, the way I look at it, it's like you go to a doctor's office. I love this parallel because I do believe, like Kenny was saying, there's a lot of similarities between doctors, dentists, lawyers, barbers. We just, in the minds of maybe ourselves first, have been set lower in that totem pole. Yeah. But you don't see a lot of doctors coming in doing regular checkups, right? When you go do your annual checkup, it's a nurse that comes in and does all that basic stuff, right? And they come at the very end and look at the chart and see what's going on. Be like, all right, bet. So based off of my wisdom, my years, I know we should do this. How you feeling based on that? So they're operating at the top of their license. I think there's opportunities for barbers to do the same thing. And this might be a part of that opportunity for us, is saying, all right, I can hire some junior barbers to practice some of the easy stuff, maybe take down the bulk. They can do these shampoo services, and I can make sure that I'm maximizing my income, my profitability potentially, right? By doing the most essential services that I know only I can do, that I've mastered.
Yeah.
And you can be more efficient,
right? We just got to think a little differently.
That's a totally different perspective from so many barbers, because you know why, Mike? It's a good perspective, and I want to be able to see what you're saying come into fruition for the barbering space in some way. Because are you currently doing that right now, where you have other people shampoo for you and do it?
Nah, it's a model that I've been playing with. I think I mentioned to you guys that I have a mastermind while I've been teaching my business model, and so I'm always trying to dissect what are the essential components of what a barber needs to do to grow and scale.
Yeah.
Is a shampoo service something essential for me to do to grow my business? No. So am I doing it currently? No. But if I had a bigger space, my space right now is pretty small in the sense of we maximize our square footage, right? We don't have a key area. I don't think there's a need for me to have a TV. I have no TV in my barbershop. We focus on doing our services, getting people in and out. And that works for who we're trying to cut. We're trying to cut the busy professionals, right? Who have something to do that don't want to sit in the shop for an hour and a half. So I'm maximizing my space for that crowd. If I had a larger space, would I do that model? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's worth the try. And if it doesn't work, it just didn't work, right?
No, it's proven that it does work. Like it's already proven that it does work because so many salons operate like that, and they're operating at a higher price point than we are, and they do sometimes what can be considered as less work than we do. That's just being facts. Like that's just, and because Delmar, you got a chance to come and do an internship when you with a company that I used to work for called Jovance. And so the Jovance is in the Bay Area here in California. It's one of the major brand names when it comes to high quality salon services, as well as in and out type of feel, but professional all at the same time. I think their moniker or their motto was where speed and comfort come together or something like that. So Delmar, he got a chance to come and do an internship because I was a barber in this salon. And so this, like you said, this is my first time ever seeing actual business run. I was in a barbershop before. It was like, it was night and day. And so when they were asking me questions about, did I want to take appointments? I was like, no, like, of course not. Why would I want to do that? And then I started to see and understand more about business. You definitely want appointments anyways. So my point is when you're thinking about this area, Delmar, when you think about when you came and you did the internship, how did this shift your perspective in regards to this conversation?
I laugh because I'm just kind of like Mike, like my dad always cut my hair. So I didn't have any barbershop experience, but we all got friends, right? So they would always tell us stories about barbershop and things that were going on in the barbershop. So in my mind, and then we had the movie Barbershop 1 and 2. So in my mind, this is what I'm perceiving a black barbershop to be. Wasn't really business savvy, just kind of anything goes, hot seat, the whole nine. I'm glad that me interning at Jovance was my first experience of being in a barbershop because I was able to see the professionalism and not just see it as a salon and then you having your suite inside the salon, but I saw a business. I saw the services second, but I saw how a business was to properly run. And then once I came back home from that internship, I tried to look for that. Nobody was doing that, which is expected because like, let's be real. Barbers are within the last 7 to 8 years, maybe 10 at the most, are just now starting to get business minded. We late to the party. So I tried to carry that with me everywhere I went. And I realized it wasn't where I was at. I just didn't fit that model. You know, just going back and looking at hindsight is 2020. So then when me and Traven, which is my brother, when we finally did get our own barbershop in 2014, we tried to run it as professionally as we can. Now, when you start adding people and this is where I take responsibility as a leader. I didn't properly try to train them. It was getting booth rent. That's what I thought was being a business, getting booth rent. We still had the team aspect, so to say. But if I had to go back and do that all over again, I would have trained myself first because you can't lead unless you know how to follow and you got to know who to follow. So if I can go back 10 years ago, I would have invested in my mindset first and then try to train my guys. And then when other people come into the shop, they see, man, this is professional. And they saw professionalism in our shop, but it wasn't to the standard of what I saw when I interned at Jovance. And not saying that every shop salon has to be a Jovance, but that was professionalism at the highest that I've seen in our industry. And that's what I try to, today in my suite, that's what I try to uphold the standard to be as professional as I can. But it starts with us here first. Yeah. And then whatever we, install here, it's gonna carry out in our actions.
Yeah, can I jump in? I agree 100%, man. Mindset is something that I think it kind of goes back to, not even going back to, but if we just look at where our community, how we were exposed to barbering, right? Most of us didn't go to college, right? Most of us in our community. So barbering was an outlet, right? Like it was something where if you were on the street, you know, whether you was doing something illegal or whatever, it was an option that you can get off the street. Yeah. That's where Black barbershops kind of started. And not all of them, but, you know, y'all follow what I'm saying here. Yeah. But there's also the option like of barbers who didn't go to, men who didn't go to college. So it was like, all right, well, I want to trade. Let me get into a barbershop and just make some quick money. But now we're starting to see that like the business of barbering for years has been super lucrative. And these clipper companies have been killing it, right? These chain supercuts, people can joke. Any barber that's watching this right now, you can joke all you want to about supercuts and great clips, but they make billions, y'all.
Billions.
Arguing over some petty stuff and what type of clipper. Listen, once we understand that we need to separate ourselves and first work on our mindset, to your point, D, that a lot of us didn't have the opportunity to really come into an environment where we can really learn how to be emotionally intelligent, how to make decisions not based on our ego, but based on, you know, where's the next thing I need to be working on. So business makes, in the space that we're in right now, it makes sense to explore different avenues. And I think going back to the original question, that could create other avenues. And I'm just of a mindset of, if something's going to change, I can complain about it, or I can just learn how to pivot as fast as possible. So that's what I'm thinking about, right? Like, I'm going to vote if I get an opportunity to, but I'm going to vote in my best interest. And if it doesn't work out how I want it to, I'm going to just complain about it and make some posts and go live and bitch about it. Or I'm going to get to work and, you know, take it to another level. I'm about action and making sure that I just put my barbers and myself in a position to win. But as barbers who think about business, because business-minded barber, right? Y'all understand that there has to be a separation at some point where we can't always do the labor. If we're doing labor, y'all.
You speak my language.
So
I'm sorry, keep going.
No, I'm just trying to expand the mindset of anybody that's watching and may feel some kind of way about me saying that this might not be a bad thing. If you understand that for years, Black-owned barbershops haven't really grown, but the business model of booth rent is capped. It's not a lot of money y'all can make by just owning a booth rent barbershop, y'all. If you don't have any other means of making passive income, a product line, a course, you know, like community somehow you can capitalize off of, monetize. Booth rent barbershops aren't necessarily the lane to freedom, the lane to retirement. So we have to be creative, and we have to open up our mindsets to think about different ways that we can maximize our time. And that means potentially hiring help, right? And getting out from behind the chair.
And I would love to build on what you just said a little bit, because that's right up my alley. I'm very, very strong in understanding that you can't live the life that you want to live only being behind the chair. Like, you can get it to the highest, as much as you think that you want to charge for a cut, you can do that. But if you are trying to live a life where you go and spend time with people that you love and you care about, if you want to be able to go on vacations, if you want to, all of that kind of stuff, you're talking about you want time. And time is taken away from you when you have to go and labor for the money. So you have to figure out ways to separate time from you making money, because making money is not dictated on time, but you have to separate that. And so the way you separate that is you have to learn how to productize, because there's a service industry and then there's the product industry. And so if you as a barber don't realize that there are things that you already currently do that can become a product if you understand how to package it, then, and that's outside of creating some grease and creating a shampoo and creating whatever, like just a small product to sell. It's bigger than that. And you have to tap into that area of your mind. And that's one of the things that I talk about in my Level Up program. And like you said, you have your masterminds, right? I think it's called, what's it called?
Amplify.
Amplify masterminds. Like, there are barbers out here that can help you to unlock that part of your brain so that you can make money without having to labor all the time. And even like Mike was just saying, like, learning how to separate, like, that was brilliant. Learning how to separate the labor that you need to do from the labor that you don't need to do. Because in the business world, if you hire at least one person, every one person you hire technically is supposed to bring you back $50,000 to $75,000.
Here we go.
Technically.
How we talking?
So if you learn how to like duplicate yourself, you can't do that just with a barber shop and you getting booth rent. If you get a barber shop, you do commission and you grow as the barbers grow. But if you are doing booth rent, then you're going to be capped unless you own the building. Because if you own the building, then that means you're going to get the increase of the real estate side of it, not just the booth rent and people paying you, because they're going to be mad at you at a certain rate when you go too high from their booth rent and they leave you and now you stuck having to do that. So anyways, this was good, bro. That's huge. A lot of people have to, I hope, really heard what you just said in regards to separating money from the time you have to spend to make it.
I would take it a little bit. I'll take it a step further. I think one of the issues I'm having currently is with our industry, with barbers, is us not realizing when enough is enough when it comes to pricing, right? So
I got it. Yeah.
You can technically, yes, you can charge $300 for a haircut. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like some barbers will get that. Some of them deserve that.
Yeah.
But for the other 95% of y'all,
it's not realistic.
You gotta be smart, and you might be pricing yourself out of your own market. And I'm not. Listen, I charge $60 for a 30-minute slot, right? I charge $90 for 45 minutes, $120 for an hour. I'm time based because I realize how valuable my time is. That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But I'm not a low price barber, so I'm not sitting here with a pedestal saying, "Oh no, y'all just need to stay low." I'm saying for most barbers, you got to understand that the higher you go, the less people that's going to be able to pay that price point. So you got to create options for people. You got to create options for people, and you got to understand what stage you're in. And just because the barber next to you is charging $120 and he's cutting 3 heads a day, don't mean you need to emulate him. You know, in my opinion, when things get rough and we may have a recession, I'd rather have 300 clients paying me $60 than 30 clients paying me $200 because when things get tight, people start to cut back. So I just want people to be smart about how they're pricing. And when I think I sent y'all some content that I put together a couple of years ago talking about empowering yourself through pricing, but there's a limit to it. And back to your point about separating your time from your income. I think that's how you said it. But there's a barber in my shop. Her name is Meg. She's a barber loctician, and she's in the process of what you were saying and trying to find a product. She was like, Mike, you know, like I'm a great loctician, and she's a fantastic loctician, y'all. Like she was a 6-figure loctician, decided to retire to learn how to be a barber to duplicate that same type of income. So she walked away from that, bro. It's her story is amazing, but her personality type is, she's gonna win. It's just a matter of time, right? It's just a matter of time. She was like, Mike, I need a product. Like, you know, you have ideal hair care. You know, I'm trying to think of an oil to do. And I said, Meg, I think you're missing what the real product is. Like, you are the product. Exactly. You are the product. Like, there's not a lot of locticians who can get even close to your type of quality of what you do. There's a lane for you to potentially teach it. Saying so that's another way that barbers can think about trying to duplicate themselves and get out of exchanging time for money. But barbers, we labor, y'all. So the higher you go with your prices, the less market that's available to you, and you're gonna start competing with barbers who have been doing it for years. And it's just, you got to be careful. That's what I guess that's my main point with that is be careful. But you're exchanging time for money as a barber. Yes, you are a entrepreneur, but you're self-employed. So just keep that in mind.
With no PTO, no retirement. I want to tap into what you said because, like, social media, man, it just glorify a lot of the wrong stuff. We see a lot of celebrity barbers or, you know, celebrity barber wannabes posting that, man, this person just paid $875 for a haircut. Like, I'm being exaggerative, but y'all get what I'm saying. And then new young barbers are getting into the industry like, man, I gotta get my skill set up so I can start charging $300. Let's be honest. Getting $300 for a haircut is not realistic for everybody. I'm just putting it out there. So don't go broke or don't kill your career trying to get to a $300 price point. Guess what? The average person ain't paying $300 for a haircut, bro. They're not paying $200 for a haircut. They just not. Like, you don't have that many people in the world making 6 figures, bro.
Facts.
On average. So, and like you said, you'll price yourself out trying to do that. Find other ways to make your money. Because guess what? You charging $300 for a cut, you can be stuck to that chair trying to make $300 per client off of a haircut, and you just chasing money with your body. Start using this. You know, and if you can't, I'm sorry, Brad, I gotta
go ahead.
My thoughts going. So you can't get so locked in as to I'm gonna make this money behind the chair. If you can't can't develop a product, there's affiliate programs out there. I just joined one. I had my own product. We're not gonna talk about that. But I joined the affiliate program with the company. I just got another affiliate deal with another company. Did that this one was unexpected. So it's like there's ways that you can make your money. You can create a digital product. Mike has a digital product. Brad is working on a digital product. Other barbers have digital products. Don't get glued to the chair. Your body is not going to allow you to do this for 50 years. I don't want to do this mess for 50 years. Like I love cutting hair just like the next man. But I'm at a point now where I realize, hey, this ain't going to get me rich. You know, I need to be able to save my money. Be able to save my body. I need to be able to buy my time back. Yeah. That's where I'm headed to now. When I'm in my 40s, I will be making that passive income, bro.
Let me jump in too, man. I don't want to lose my train of thought. You brought something to my mind. Where I'm at right now, I have two major passions, y'all. That's outside of my family. I'm still thinking about, barbering, right? Within the barbering with my career, two major passions. And the more I lean into it, the more fruit I'm able to grow from that, right? And that's cutting hair. I love cutting hair, y'all. Like even when I get to the point where I don't need to cut hair to make money to help feed my family, I still will cut some hair, y'all. Like I love the creativeness of it, right? I used to draw a lot as a kid. I used to sketch, and I feel like I'm doing this thing with the clippers, right? Like I'm sketching, so I'm really like in my zone. I'm focused. I'm in flow state, right, when I'm cutting because I get to do something that I love. The other thing that I love is entrepreneurship. I love business, and to your B, the more I tap into my mind and the more I expand my mind to learn business, the more I start to mourn my other passion of putting hair on the floor because I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time there. If I'm truly going to serve how I want to serve, like I feel like it's my purpose to help barbers continue to grow. If I'm going to do that, then I have to let it go. So not fully, but like that's part of it is understanding like as you grow, you're going to have to be okay with switching some things up. And it's scary. I mean, be transparent. Like I'm in a place right now where I'm transitioning. It's scary to let something go that I've been making really good money from to move into a different lane. But I think that's where we need to be going. More barbers need to be open to learning from other industries, y'all. We get so tied up with just following barbers and scrolling and seeing these influencers, these celebrity barbers that we just totally ignore everything else is going on around us and the game that's being shared with people who provided service. Any barber who if you're just joining the industry right now, you need to be doing as much research as you can about people who are providing the service, about entrepreneurship, and then just tie the business of barbering to what you learn from that research.
What you're bringing up, what we're talking about today is so needed for barbers that are in the industry for years, as well as for those that are coming in, because the state of barbering, and Mike, Delmar, y'all can correct me if I'm saying it incorrectly, but the state of barbering is how do I want to say it simply? The state of barbering is in trouble from the standpoint of they're pushing like the society's perspective of barbering is that stay behind the chair. Like your clients sometimes don't even realize that you are human outside of the chair. They're like, you talk to them on the street and you see him at the park or you see him at whatever. They be like, hey, man, can I get a cut? I'm living life right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not thinking about trying to find my booking app and put you on my schedule. Like it's what I do. It's not who I am. And so, but when it comes to the positive side of barbering, growth is going to be in your ability to think your way from behind the chair. And not that you have to get away from the chair, but just learn how to use your chair as a platform for you to build the greatness that you see in your mind. The life that you want to live, it's not going to be coming off of fades only. It can't. It's a capped mindset. Like you have to realize that your body can only do so much. Your mind is going to take you so much more further than your hands can. So that's one of the things about the state of barbering that we have to understand is that don't get stuck with the labor. Like focus on more than just being behind the chair, because business is not the labor. In any business, the business is not the labor. You think about Walmart, you think about any business, bro, any business, it's not the labor. Go ahead, D.
Barbering ain't forever, but business ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Okay, little bar, I see you.
Yeah.
The bar, little
Let's do a little poetry back in my day.
It was the timing of it too, bro. The timing was perfect.
Yeah, he had the the pause, the dramatic pause, and everything.
But I also want to, so like, I want to continue this conversation, but give a contrarian perspective, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking high level. Anybody that's watching this, you should take a lot from barbers who, I haven't met these gentlemen in person yet, but we connect from a mindset perspective, right? We're speaking high level. We're speaking next level of barbering. Again, I want to make sure that I address the 95%. Most barbers should be okay with being behind the chair. I don't want y'all to believe and try to chase what you see on social media or try to chase the barber who's doing 6 figures part-time. That may not be for you. Don't run away from the chair trying to be Alex Hormozy and leaving the opportunity of this amazing industry. Like this barber industry has changed my life, y'all. It's changed my life. Yeah. I was a college dropout, man. Like I went to school a couple years. I was failed.
A lot of similarities, man.
Man, listen, bro. I was in college, and this is my truth. And hopefully somebody's gonna hear this and be inspired, because I was in my first couple years in college, and I remember taking this history class, and I was just so out of it. I wasn't even really there. I failed the class one time, took it again the next semester, and failed the same damn class again, y'all, because I just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? At that point, I was like, all right, it's time for me to take a break, because I'm wasting my damn money right now. So let me take a break. Got into sales, started learning more about myself, man. So like, no matter where you are in your journey, you know that there is opportunity for you to grow, but don't lose the perspective on the blessing of our industry. Like I get to make a great living. I've been able to make a great living over the years by doing something I love to do. So I see that a lot of barbers coming into the industry based off of like the income potential, and that wasn't there when I came in, right? Barbers weren't crazy money, saying that they're doing 20,000. Anyways, I ain't gonna take it that far, but I'm just saying, I think a lot of barbers need to understand, how do you maximize behind the chair first? Get that down, learn how to manage your money, learn how to put away, and then you can start investing into yourself first. Invest into yourself, into your mindset, into your education.
So Mike, let me just jump on that real quick, because I want to make sure that it's not misunderstood from either perspective.
Yep.
You're saying that a barber, when you get into the industry, there are two different things that'll probably cause you to thrive, right? One of them is your love for the art of cutting hair, right? You like you said, you get into your flow state because you enjoy that process, that creative process. You used to be a drawer. Now you sketch through cutting hair, right? So that's one way to like really thrive, is enjoying what you do from this aspect. For me, I'm not a drawer, never been a drawer. But another thing that I see is popular for barbers that causes them to grow is that they love building relationships. They love the communication and the conversations and the relationships that they can build. And that's really where I feel like I'm strong at. And that's why I value being a barber. I don't value cutting hair and blending and trying to get your line as super straight as possible. And those picky clients that be like, can you just do all of that? I'm not a fan of that. I do that so that I can continue to build relationships. And I'm good at it because I want to continue to build relationships. So when you're saying that we don't want to give the misimpression that a barber should not love what they do, you're saying on top of loving what you do, still grow past only doing what you love. Am I hearing that correctly?
I guess let me rephrase it. So again, I'm speaking to the entirety of barbers, right? When I think about most barbers, like I said, most barbers will be in the industry for a while, because they're currently, the way that education is for barbering, I think there's opportunity for programs to help barbers actually do this stuff. But I do know a lot of barbers based off of my social media presence, right? Because I try to inspire every barbers to grow and to think differently. I get DMs all the time, young barbers, even older barbers, like trying to figure out what's the next way for me to how can I make it pop? But there's not enough education. And I think that's my main point, is like, I think a lot of barbers who will try to jump out there and try their hand at entrepreneurship will fail, but that's not necessarily a totally bad thing, because you'll learn a lot through those failures. I know I have. I'm saying that you need to first seek wisdom and seek education, y'all. And because of the opportunity because of what's going on with things possibly being deregulated, it'll be easier just to be a barber. And people will think, oh, because I make this easy, fast money, let me flip it and let me get into doing a course. But there's education that's still, every step of the way, you have to lean into education. There's a reason why, I know a lot of us are anti-corporate America, but there's a reason why education leads to more opportunities, y'all. So I just want to make sure people understand that even as you grow as a barber, as an entrepreneur, invest into your education. And I think that's a major gap right now in our industry, is outside outside of getting your license to cut hair, to go to the next level, you need education. You need to be educated.
Do you feel?
I think some of that.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think some of that is because barber school only prepares us. They don't even teach you how to really fade. It just teaches you what you need to know to pass state board. So we get our license and think, okay, I'm just ready to cut hair. But there's so many different aspects to being a barber than just doing a tight fade and having a nice line. Like, you really have to understand who you are, what you're trying to target, understand business. You got to see your end goal, what you're trying to do. You just have to be able to see barbering in its entirety so that you're not behind the chair. And like you said, Mike, there's nothing wrong with being behind the chair if that's what you want to do. But just know that we don't get PTO, we don't get 401k. You have to kind of create that on your own via passive income opportunities. So I want barbers to understand that as well.
Yeah, I'm a product of I just want to finish real quick, bro. I just want to say that, like, where I'm at, the blessings that I've been able to have right now, I'm a risk taker based off of me saying I see opportunities because of my education. And I'm not saying technically I went back to school, I got my master's. I'm saying I think that I'm in a land of my own, y'all, in my area, in my market, because I don't think a lot of barbers invest into themselves as heavily as I do. Like, I spend a lot of time in these books, and I'm reading, I'm consuming stuff that is only in the direction where I want to go, and that's growing my barbering business. So I'm saying, if barbers aren't doing that, if you're not thinking about how else do I bring value besides exchanging my skill set for money, then you're gonna be overexposed. I think that's what I want to bring to the table is we're in the business of providing a service, and because people see the quality of a haircut, most barbers stop right there. They stop in just thinking that the higher quality I provide, the more I can charge. The better my blends, the more I can charge. But that's only solving one problem for a person. Like, for you, either one of y'all, right? Like, if I'm a dope barber who does dope fades, and I may be the best in my city at fading hair, but you got a flight to catch, D. So you might not be concerned with the fact that I do the best fades, because you got another priority. You have another problem to solve, right? So I think too many barbers get stuck in thinking only about their skill set being their ticket to them making more money. I hope I'm bringing on y'all, but there's really 3 different layers of value that you can provide: externally, internally, and philosophically. External is somebody saying, I need a haircut. That's an external problem. They can go Walmart, pick up a pair of clippers and cut their hair. Matter of fact, I think Baggio even said this too. We tripping and joking these clippers inside Walmart, but that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? Most people, they take advantage of that opportunity. Not everybody goes to an expensive barber, but just the service of providing a service, you're solving an external problem. Externally, somebody needs a haircut. Internally, you're trying to focus on what frustrates me. So as a barber, right? Even if you are a dope barber who does dope haircuts, that's an external problem. If somebody internally is a punctual person and you're not a punctual barber, they don't care about how dope you are, because you're not solving that next layer of problem. So I hope people that are watching this understand you have to solve multiple problems. And if you're only focused on how can I do better enhancements, how can I do better fades, I need the latest clippers to be the best barber, you're losing. You're going to lose in the long. The last level is philosophical, and that's people who want to do business with people who are like-minded. The business-minded barber, I know by the way that you do your content, it's very little hair cutting. You talk about business. I know for a fact, I haven't seen anybody in your chair, but I know you have business-minded people in your chair. You attract what you put out, and you solve philosophical problems too. Some people come to you because they want to do business with you because of the way that you are as a human being, bro. Not because you cut great, not because you're always on time, but they want to support a Black man who's doing positive things. That's a philosophical thing and a problem that you're solving. 3 different layers of value. Most barbers only focus on, I need to do a better fade.
That was good, bro. That was good. I don't even know if that's like a bunch of mic drops, but but that was good. I've never looked at that, never heard it that way. So that was brilliant, and I agree, like 1,000%. I think anybody that cares would agree with that. Anybody that really takes barbering serious would agree with that. And there's like some values that you speak about, because for you to get to this point where you can serve internal, external, as well as philosophical needs, you have had to do that for yourself first, right? You've had to understand, like Delmar was saying, who you are as a person and how to get the best out of yourself so that you can serve the best way. And there's something that you speak about, Mike, that I would love for you to elaborate on, is about just the way to serve yourself first so that you can serve others. barbers. You speak about this a lot inside of your mastermind, but I've seen some small clippets that you've put out also on Instagram and even some on YouTube too, where you talk about the power of routines and how you have like a morning routine and you have routines for your business and you have and I want to just kind of dive into that, because if a barber is trying to get to the highest height that they can, the best way for you to do that is to be able to operate at the highest way. So can you please share some insight on how you get the highest possible profit from you as an individual?
No, great question. So again, speaking from what I do, why I do it, I see barbering as my sport. And I know that the way for me to continue to grow professionally is to always think about it like that. So if I study great performers, then I see trends and like similarities, no matter what industry you're in. Certain people who are high performers, they do similar things across genres, across industries. Steph Curry is an amazing 3-point shooter, right? But I'll say not dozens. I would say there's thousands of people who shoot probably just as well as Steph Curry, because that's not the only thing that he does. Now he's able to really maximize his skill set. He is also an amazing ball handler, right? But people still just know him for being an all-time great shooter. He also practices harder than anybody on his team. Everybody who goes to that team, which will tell you that he outworks everybody, right? So there's certain habits that he does on top of his God-given gift that allows him to take it to the top level. And if I think about myself as an athlete, as a barber athlete, in a way, I have to take care of myself and think about how else can I maximize my performance, not only behind the chair from a skill set standpoint, but from a mentality, right? How am I able to not overly react when a client, is frustrated and, cussing because, I took one side higher than the other side, right? If I can maybe able to step back and say, all right, bro, is everything all right? You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about this, because that hairline wasn't that big of a deal. So let me, instead of, instead of me cussing you out, let's take a second and unpack this thing, right? That emotional agility is powerful. So man, I think I'm reading a book right now. I'll send it to you. I can't think of the name. I think it's called just High Performance Habits by Brandon Burchard. But it's a book that addresses different case studies of what high performers do, and eating right. All the stuff that most barbers would see as boring or as like cheesy is the stuff that y'all are missing out on. And that's the thing that I love, that a lot of stuff, not love, I would say one of the things that I have been able to take advantage of, honestly, is the fact that a lot of things that people would consider to be cheesy or corny is like the cheat code, like meditation, consistent prayer, Having harmony with your working life. I don't say work-life balance anymore. I say work-life harmony. Understanding that you don't have to, overreact to somebody, to another Black man who's having a day, right? Like give him some space, right? All that stuff is so powerful for building a business, not just putting money in your pocket and cutting as many heads as possible, but building a business and building a community. That stuff is powerful. So morning routines, I don't do it every day like I should, but I know I can tap back into it whenever I'm feeling off. Like I'm journaling, I'm meditating, I'm praying, I'm reading, right? And I'm waking up really intentional about doing what are my high priority activities. I'm very intentional every day about that. And it can seem intense from somebody looking outside in, but I'm the way I feel like I serve, bro, is like, I like to say I'm grateful for my opportunity. Like I understand not every barber has a chance to, be in Atlanta. Best barbershop in Atlanta is amazing honor that Atlanta Magazine gave us. Like the way that I am grateful is I have to serve more, right? I have to be really intentional. That's how I show gratitude is, all right, let me take full advantage of this opportunity and continue to help. My point going there is I think every barber just should think about it from a athletic standpoint. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta think about it.
That's my struggle.
Yeah, man, you gotta figure out ways to make it work. And nothing I do, this is on my finger right now. This is an Oura ring. This is a device.
I heard about that.
So it tracks my sleep. It lets me know how well I'm sleeping. So I'm a barber nerd in that sense, right? I want to know how much deep sleep I'm getting. I want to know. I went to a Super Bowl party last night, had some tequila. I want to know how that affected my body, right? I was sluggish all day. So I get to track. What's going on. And for a barber who's going out every other day, and then you wake up and you're not able to perform, you know what I mean? Clients, they may not say it, but they understand. People aren't silly, man. They understand. Like when you take care of yourself, when you're able to provide a high value service without smelling like weed, without, being coming in hungover. They're going to laugh and joke with you about it. But at the end of the day, we're professionals. So I approach it.
Supposed to be.
I like that. My shirt says it. I am the enhancement. I approach it like that, right? Not this color. I am what the enhancement. I'm the enhancement that's going on your head, right? These tools is a byproduct of me providing my best self to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I work on trying my best to perform as if I'm an athlete in the hair industry.
Yeah. Man, to add to what you're saying, let's take LeBron, for example. Everybody know that LeBron invests $2+ million in body every offseason. But it's, he's been playing basketball forever. When you've been being a barber forever, you can do this in your sleep. Mm-hmm. But it's what you do outside of it. It's the preparation that leads up to you being able to perform well. LeBron is able to perform at his highest level because he take care of his body, he get rest, he get sleep, he do all the things that he needs to do so that he can perform on the court. When he get on the court, that's second nature, but it's everything that he does leading up to that. So it's the same way for us as barbers, just as humans, people, period. Like, taking care of your mental, reading up on stuff. Everybody not a reader, so you made audiobook. That's me, audiobook. Exercise, diet, just, man, you got to take care of yourself. If you take care of your body, you take care of your mind, then it'll take care of you. You have to invest in those things, though. And I ain't saying you got to go out and spend $2 million on your body.
But again, I said this before we went live, is that like a lot of the stuff that I do currently is based off of where I've been, right? And if it works for me, I'm going to share it so I can help you, if you're listening, to possibly skip some steps. If you can learn the hard way or you can take some wisdom. But I have been there where I got to the shop or I woke up like super fuzzy, or like not really understanding, like I forgot what I was talking about, the day before, not being clear. So I started learning and understanding, what does that take? And it's mostly from our body and our mind. So you can do all you want. You can think sleep is for suckers all you want to, but you got to recover.
Man, they got a lot of rich, corny people in the world. That's all I'm gonna say.
Man, your body got to recover, y'all. And it's tough because we get so much freedom as barbers. We can kind of do what we want to do, set our own schedule. But the more discipline that I have, the more freedom I end up having.
I treat it like a job.
You said what?
I treat it like a job. Like, man, even if I don't have a 9 o'clock person, I'm still showing up at 9 o'clock. And it's something I can be doing at my shop. So, I just approach it as if I'm working for somebody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's kind of go back to the original thing about, unlicensed barbers. Listen, if y'all want to come in and compete with barbers like us, just be ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, we actually are taking our job seriously.
Serious.
If you want to come in thinking just because you can cut that you gonna compete, okay.
Good luck, huh?
Let's lace them up on that court, let's see.
Yeah, because like they say, man, business is war. I say first you got to understand that it's a game until you realize that it's a war. Like it has to become fun first, and then once you understand that competition is more than fun, like it's life or death, then it's like, oh, okay, I have to win. Like I have to really win. And that's what business is, man. Business is a war. And if you don't get it, then you'll get stuck only looking at you'll get stuck looking at the wrong things. You'll be thinking like, oh, okay, let me just fade. And it's bigger than that. But if you embrace this industry for what it really has the opportunity to provide you, sky is literally the limit. It will bless you because you treat it as a blessing.
Yeah, and it's a war, to your point, but it's an internal war first,
Ooh,
The more you start to try to grow and elevate yourself, the more your weaknesses will be revealed to you. And that's where the rubber meets the road, is understanding. We had a conversation in DMs before, right? Understanding that this is a mental battle, y'all. So like the demons that you have, you're going to have to face it if you're going to want to grow. And them dark, corners and them rooms that you close that door, you're going to have to open it up and figure out what's going on if you want to grow as a professional, if you want to take it to the next level. The war starts inside. You got to be ready for it.
Yeah, it does start inside. I was talking to my business mentor. I got a few of them, but one of them, man, he be drilling me, man, on exactly what you're talking about. Because there's this formula that the successful use, right? The successful use this formula. They call it be, do, have. So be plus do equals have. The problem is that most people that they want to have. And so they'll ask you, Mike, what do I need to do so that I can have? And then all of your education goes towards them being so that they can do, so that they can have. But we don't want to become the thing. We don't want to invest, like you said in our minds, we don't want to grow. We don't want to take the time to be consistent and let the muscle develop that'll allow us to be able to perform consistently the way that, we want to see the results from. Like, that's the difference between a Steph and I don't want to call nobody out, but that's the difference between somebody that
Steph.
I wasn't gonna call out his brother or nothing, but that's the difference between like superior and average, right?
Yep.
Because even Kobe talks about this if you go back and look at his mama mentality and how we all praised it after he had deceased. It's like, nah, he was talking about this stuff for years before. It's just we just started to understand how serious he meant it, and it applies to more than just basketball. When you have the ability to be committed to something and be consistent in your approach to your commitment, then you can't help but grow. He's like, okay, so if I get up at 4 and do a workout, and by the time I eat breakfast, you're eating or starting to wake up, I've already had a workout and I'm ate breakfast. Now I'm about to start my next workout at 7. Right. And he said, I'm creating such a gap that it doesn't even matter. You can't catch up to me because I've been doing what I'm doing for years. So go ahead.
I remember that interview. I 100% identify with Kobe from a few different levels. Kobe's my favorite NBA player, bro. Like, I'm a Lakers fan because of Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? Like, watching the Mamba mentality resides with me because I'm an intense performer like that. And like, even in the shop, man, like the way I cut, the way I interact with my clients, like I'm intense because I love it so much. It's not like I'm angry or anything like that. I'm just pouring my all into it. So it can get misread sometimes, but I do study Kobe, and his coach, his personal trainer, Tim Grover, wrote a book that talks about the different mentalities between Kobe, between Mike, because he trained Michael Jordan, he trained D Wade. He talks about what separated them, and it was their dedication outside of the games. They worked way harder in practice than they did game time. And we had a shop meeting not too long ago, and I was telling the barbers, like, yo, when y'all show up at the shop, this is on court. You know what I'm saying? So like, you showing up late you can't show up. I guess it depends on how serious you take your craft, right, or your industry. Yeah. Let's start there. But the way I see it is, this is what feeds me. People pay me a premium, so I have to take this serious, right? That's the way I see it. So like, me showing up late, it happens. I can get caught in traffic, but I do know that there was an effect, right? Like, I didn't just happen to be late. I woke up late, or I chose to sleep in, or I chose to go out and have too much tequila, right? So like, it's about the decisions that you're making, right? And I do follow Kobe, and I see how he worked. I also see the sacrifices that he made, and I ask myself, as a father of 3 young kids, do I want to make the same sacrifices as Kobe? To a certain extent, hell no. Like, I want to have that harmony. So I take some from him. I take some from, who else? There's plenty of people that I study, but my point is that the separation that Kobe talks about, it does happen in those dark hours, like waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get some stuff done. That's why I know that I don't have to compete with me and the barbers, because y'all not doing what I'm doing. So like, I'm really competing with my demons. I'm not competing with y'all, right? I'm trying my best to make myself better on a daily basis. So like, if I'm going to get up at 4 to work on some content, I know most barbers won't do that. They'll think I'm crazy. Most barbers like, oh, no, you tripping. All right, cool. So we'll see you in 10 years, right? Or they may try to get up. They may try to get up at 4, but you went to bed at 11. So you may be up like I'm up, but you ain't performing like I'm performing, because I'm fully restored, right? So as far as the industry, I love it, and I'm able to treat it like that. My gift is cutting hair, like Steph's gift was shooting, but it's about what else I bring to that table to really elevate what's possible for me. So that's how I see it,
man. Right, mic drop. This has been good. This has been good. We could keep going, y'all, but if we don't never leave, then y'all won't never come back. So we have to do a part 2. Yeah, we got to do a part 2, man.
You have so much depth to yourself, man. Like, I learned so much just talking to you. I know we chatted here and there on IG, but having this conversation with you today, because that's what it was, a conversation. I learned so much about you and your perspective and how you think. Like, this is adding to me, helping me grow as well. So appreciate you taking time out to be on our platform.
I appreciate y'all, man. I want to say that like the community of barbering is really what I'm focused on. So like as more barbers like us start to connect, the stuff that I'm talking about and I'm trying to do for myself and I'm trying to teach others how to do, it's not easy, y'all. Like the reason why most barbers don't take it to that super top level is it's not easy. It's simple, but not easy. So what's the difference, right? Is what can be the difference is community, like working out. Like everybody has New Year's resolutions. They want to put on weight. They want to lose weight. But around this time of the year, here, people fall off, right? The difference is community. If I have a group of men who are like-minded around me and we're all going in the same direction and pushing each other, even when Mike has a bad day, I know that I have D with me, right? And D's like, hey, bro, how you doing, man? Like, you all right? You good? You know, that's my accountability partner. So community with barbers who are moving in the same direction, who take their values seriously is what the next level is. And I'm excited about doing my part to help cultivate a community of barbers who just are so grateful that they want to take it to another level. They want to create opportunities for other barbers, but I got to get the hell about the way so I can help the next generation come up.
Man. So y'all definitely coming back for the next episode with Mike. You definitely coming back because everything that you just said and what you just said in the whole episode, man, is value content. Like, it's just valuable. Like, if anybody's trying to grow, I think that this is probably one of the best episodes that you could watch. Because I'm speechless to a certain degree, man. I'm speechless, man. But I'm
man, Brad ain't never speechless, bro.
Yeah, I'm not. Speechless because it's inspiring, man. It's inspiring, and I like what you said about community, because collaboration beats competition every day. And if we don't understand that, we as barbers that are trying to go higher, trying to achieve our best selves, we have to get around other barbers that are doing the same, if not better than you, so that way that you can grow. Like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you got to get out that room. And so that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're bringing barbers like yourself on, Mike, is because we're trying to help develop the community that you were speaking of. Is elevated barbers means we are trying to promote the barbers that are elevating barbers, right? We're doing certain things all as individuals, but if we're all trying to get higher, then the best way to get higher is to make sure that you give space for the people behind you. So you got to give them by giving back. And this is what we're trying to do, man. So today was just fantastic. Fantastic. So for the community, man, for the community, Mike, what would you, what's your departing words, man? Some words of wisdom that you would drop on them regarding the state of the barbering. I think this was a great title, State of the Barbering Address. What would you say to us, man? Stay to the people.
What would I say? Departing words, man, just don't run from your demons. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it may be a little cliche, but what's going to take you to another level is you addressing, you know, the things that you've been trying your best to push away. And I know that may be a little dark, but I can speak from my personal experience. I have been able to grow. And when I don't grow, it's because I'm not focused on, you know, self-development and really understanding who I am, why I choose not to do certain things, why I choose to do certain things. Am I chasing this for ego purposes, right? Am I, you know, just trying my best to understand who the hell I am? And that journey has opened up a lot of doors for me. And it's given me this fire that hopefully y'all are able to feel. Is like, I'm just so grateful, man. Like, the opportunity that I think is available for barbers who take it seriously. And you ain't got to be dead serious all the time. Hopefully y'all don't see that from me. I'm not always high intensity, but when it comes to my craft, like, that's how I show how grateful I am. Is I'm gonna take it seriously. So take your craft seriously, y'all, and then for a few years, grind and see where it takes you.
Absolutely. Well, y'all heard it here first, man. Mike Andrews, Ideal Barber, Instagram. Make sure you give a like, give a follow, subscribe, turn on your notifications, man, so you can get other episodes like we had today. But as for me and Elevated Barbers, we are out.
Peace.